What's up, guys? Storyverse89 here, back with another episode after so long. Sorry about that super long break. I kinda messed up my arm, so I couldn't really do any Kerbal Space Program. But I'm fine now, and we're back with an even more ambitious mission than an early cheat station. We are now going to orbit the moon with a Kerbal and bring them back to complete the contract instead of doing a probe, because we just unlocked the Titan parts. So let's get right into it, and you guys will see the construction of this new advanced vessel that is the first debut of the Titan parts. So here we go. And here we are in the VAB back again, and now we need to start planning our little mission. So the thing is, this is a very ambitious mission, because I am going to be going in orbit of the Mun super early in the game. Like, usually you don't go this early. Wait, this is a parachute. So, usually you don't go this early, but, you know, I'm going early, so it means we're going to need to bring quite a bit of stuff. And we're going to be bringing the Corvus, because the Corvus comes with a built-in, like, shroud thing, so we can actually decouple the stage. But looks like we got a monopropellant driven thing with some oxygen, food, and water, which gives us 4 days with max crew. So I don't actually even need to bring any more life support. The entire Corvus capsule is actually enough to bring it. So we're just going to disable that staging, give it a new engine, and there we go. The Corvus is already done. Well, not entirely. We need to give it some science, of course. Because we are visiting the Mun with Kerbals, so we might as well take advantage of this as best we can. So we're going to put... you know what? Actually, we're going to put this inside the Shroud. Because I have a feeling the 1.875 meter fairing will probably stay with us for a little while. And because we're not bringing a scientist, we have to bring 2 goo canisters, one for high orbit, and one for high orbit and one for low orbit for the Mun. We are bringing an engineer, so we don't need a flight guidance unit. But we do need... Where is it? We don't need that. There it is. Bring some extra science. We're going to put it on this side, because we already got something on there. There we go. See if we got any batteries. We do, actually. Oh, I don't want to put it in a sub-assembly. 4 batteries. There we go. 4 batteries stored inside the Corvus module. And now, what we need to do is we need to give this thing a second stage, which is the Titan second stage. And now that we have the Titan parts, it should mean we can go farther. Hopefully. Unfortunately, the Titan's not the most accurate with its engines due to its slow cooldown period that you have. But it shouldn't be terrible. It's also, I think, a lighter payload. Hold on. How heavy is this? No. Weighs like almost 3 tons, which I'm pretty sure is less than the normal capsule, so I think it's actually better that we have this. But hopefully nothing should go wrong. I haven't tested the Titan parts in this save yet, but we'll see. 1.875 meter upper fairing, and of course the Titan's main engines, the Prometheus LR8707. I don't need to put the entire numbers. You get the point. It's a new engine. And I think... I don't know if we have any boosters. Oh, we do have some boosters. I don't think we have the decouplers yet, though. So I think we're going to stick with... Actually, no. Now that I think about it, we're going to need some decouplers, because without them, we're not going to get as far. Because we're going lunar instead of orbit. Normally, I'd just say the normal Prometheus is fine, but because we're going to lunar orbit instead of Kerbin orbit, we definitely need some more, a little bit more of a kick. So we're going to bring these, they're too big, bring the Hecatos solid fuel boosters. So they're basically these big 1.875 meter solid fuel tanks that were used in real rockets. They were used on the Titan III, or in normal numbers, 3, and they were used for a lot of interplanetary stuff, but I don't think we have anything interplanetary yet, so they're just going to help us get lunar, because they're very powerful. They're very, like, powerful solid fuel boosters that come very early in the game. Now, I see we don't have any extra support down here, so we are going to get 2 more decouplers. And we got still space for 2 parts. Isn't that cool? So that means we can add the launch pad, and then I think the Corvus, Corvus 1 is going to be our first lunar vessel. But it's not going to land or anything. We are far from that. Oh, actually, no, we're not really that far from it. Now that I think about it, if we're already getting lunar orbit with Kerbals, we're already pretty much on our way to getting Kerbals on the moon. Maybe in a while, though. We're probably going to do some probe stuff first before we get to that. But for now, we have the Corvus, and I think we have enough for the launch tower of parts. Yeah, look at that, 30 parts. We just hit it, and now we can launch the Corvus. Our very first Kerbal lunar orbiter, which I think has more than enough to get us there and back. We're going to give them the little, give them the orange suit. And they're going to go fly all the way there with 4 days of life support. That's more than enough for a Kerbin, not a Kerbin, a lunar mission. Now, I was going to put some RCS for some fine-tuning, but we don't have enough parts, so we'll stick with this. There's doors. It said open doors. What was that? I don't know what that was. But it looks like we can edit this. It's nice. Mast height. Can only go less, so we're going to do medium gray. Oh, wow, that looks weird. We're going to do light, dark gray. And dark gray, there we go. Just moving it around a little bit. And there we go, we got the Corvus 1, our most ambitious mission yet. Because, well, I mean, the cheat station was very ambitious. This one's more ambitious, so I'll see you on the launch pad. Welcome to the pad. As you can see here, we got a nice view of the Corvus. And now it is time to take off. I have time warp till morning, just so that we can, actually see it better. But I will be meeting you guys in orbit, because you've already seen the entire construction of the Corvus, and I'm sure you want to see some more action. So I'll skip through the action, or not skip through the action. I will just see you in orbit, where we actually do something more exciting than just the first launch of Corvus. But I will see you guys in orbit. And welcome to orbit. As you see here, the Corvus has now made it into orbit, and I also figured out that I don't have any I don't have any antennas, so I can't transmit, which kind of means that I need a Kerbal to go out and actually, like, grab the science through the bay somehow, and, do that. So I'm going to have Bill go out real quick and just grab the data so I can just get this over with, because I do need this. I'm not gonna, because I can't transmit, and that stage is going to be separated at some point in the future. So kind of need to make sure that that science is actually inside. But here we go. I kept that stage way longer than the actual rocket, but obviously it's a little bit different. We're going to watch our electric charge as well. We do have a fuel cell to keep us charged if need be, but I don't think we should need anything. And of course, this is going to be a really long burn. And of course, on the bright side, we have time warp, so we can just kind of time warp through the burn, but we're going to go into a nice low orbit of, oh god, I hate the maneuver planner sometimes. We're going to go into a nice low orbit of 51. Not quite 30, because 30 is like lunar landings, but because we're not doing a lunar landing, we're not going to go into 31, or 30. So we're going to stick with 51. But we got to have Corvus just wait in orbit for a little while we orbit around. I don't actually know what kind of fuel cell this uses. Like, I think it uses monopropellant, which is kind of bad for me, because, the Corvus third stage kind of needs to do stuff, but it shouldn't take too much. I think it's draining monopropellant. Yeah, it is. It's draining monopropellant. Slowly, mind you, which is not too bad. So I guess we don't really have to worry about the fuel cell, we just can't have it active for very long. There we go. We gotta start the burn with the rather slow LR9107, as we'll call it, which is a slow but efficient engine. I mean, look at all that fuel we got down there. That's more than enough to make it to lunar orbit and back without using the third stage, because the third stage doesn't actually have that much fuel in it. But this is a very ambitious mission, only because I only have Kerbals in low Kerbin orbit, or high Kerbin orbit? Low Kerbin orbit, yeah. In low Kerbin orbit for a long time. So we're already, like, progressing through the tree pretty fast. In tree, I mean tech tree. Because, we're going pretty fast. On the bright side, this maneuver should be done in just a minute. We could probably close that maneuver node. And cut the engine in a second. You just gotta go up and down with this engine, because you don't want to go too fast, too quickly. Because, it has a cooldown period, as you can see here. Like, 99% of Kerbal engines don't actually have that, and in stock that doesn't exist, a cooldown period. But because these engines are special. Look at that, we can just use RCS. So now this thing is on rotational, it's not really a barbecue roll, but it's just keeping it stable. Get a couple of reports, get a crew report, because this is all new data to us. Because we are now farther from Kerbin than we've ever been before, and there are still 3 local moons. Excuse me. Well, not... Yeah, I mean, there's 3, but we're visiting 1 already, so there's still 2 other unexplored moons. So, this part is pretty uneventful, so I will meet you guys in high lunar orbit, and we'll continue from there. Welcome to lunar orbit. As you see, we have finally made it, and we are now just kind of chilling in orbit. Well, high orbit. We aren't fully circularized yet, but it's now finally time to break out one of the mystery goos, because we've reached the Mun. Now we're just going to log pressure and charged particles, even though that pressure wouldn't make sense considering we're in space, but whatever. Take a nice crew report. And time for another EVA. This is basically the entire process for completing the tech tree. For anyone who wants to do this with non-modded parts, this is what you want to do. You want to constantly be taking experiments. You want to just constantly be going out with your Kerbal, collecting some data, and then bringing it back into the capsule for the full, resource. Because I think I have a mod that gives you maximum scientific output. So, like, even if you transmit it, you still get the maximum output of scientific research, which is better, to be honest. But I mean, if you want to do the limited research, that's fine. Like, if you're doing a non-modded run, it would make sense to just constantly be getting in and out to collect science. And because it wouldn't really make sense to do that if you're transmitting, but if you're planning on recovering, like the Corvus here, it's a good idea to just get in and out with a Kerbal or have a probe core capable of collecting data, which is even better because it means it takes less time. You click a button instead of having a Kerbal literally get out of the capsule and grab the science experiments each time. It's just very annoying. But there we go. We have reached an elliptical orbit around the Mun. Look at that. Our first crewed mission to the Mun. It's finally done. Well, there's going to be many more after this. Like, we're going to have lunar landings, we're going to have all kinds of other moon shenanigans going on a little bit later in the game. But for now, it's just early science and other experiments. There's another little cheat. You can do this. You take the data out and then you store it, and then you can take another crew report without having to transmit it, which is very helpful. So we are. Wait, can I just? I thought there was a transfer button. That would have been kind of mad. I would have been kind of mad if there was literally a transfer button right there and I just hadn't used it. But we're gonna take that. We're gonna collect that. And now we have to get the ion chamber, and then that is the last of our science. Well, and the EVA report from Bill here. And take this data, and that is it. We can take these off my screen finally. And that is it for the lunar mission. Technically, we can just return now, which is actually what I'm probably going to do because I don't want to strain the fuel cell too much. So we're going to stop the fuel cell. We are going to figure out a good orbit to get back. Going this way would mean we'd go this way. And oh wow, that's very little delta V. We'll just break off. Yep, break off straight from orbit. 315, still more than enough left in the tank to get us back to Kerbin. Hopefully the parachute doesn't mess up, because I don't know if this is a drogue chute or if it's the full chute. I probably should have checked that before we came on this lunar mission. But alas, it is too late, and I'm just going to have to deal with whatever's going to happen. So hopefully it's the main chute, but there is I haven't used the Corvus very much, so there is a chance that this is not the main chute and this is a drogue chute. Which means one of the Kerbals is going to have to bail out and the other is going to have to die, because you can't get two out at the same time, which is annoying. But hopefully it won't have to come to that, and both Kerbals can return to the surface safely. We don't want our first casualty. That would be very sad for our space program. Be a sad day. Luckily, I don't think we have to deal with that, because I think this is the main chute. Because there's no other Corvus parts, the capsule, so I would assume it's just the main chute, but I guess you never know. But we're just like straight away breaking from the moon. Now that we've planned that, we're just going to keep the fuel cell going for the duration of the mission, because we only have a couple hours left in the mission anyway. And I think that's going to be it for the Corvus. Now they just got to wait to head home. And wow, Kerbin jump scare. Yeah. Here we are back at Kerbin, extremely quickly. And now we just have to do our last burn, just to slow us down out of lunar orbit. And then we're just going to jettison that second stage because we don't need it anymore. Boom, stop. And now we are going to say, we're just going to double check to make sure everything's out. That's good, that's good. I think everything's out. Okay. And separate. I just noticed the coupler is supposed to go here. We don't have a heat shield. Problems have arisen. Okay, well, unfortunately, I should have noticed that before I separated that stage, because that stage actually could have saved us. I think we can still survive, but I don't know how heat tolerant this thruster system is. So we're going to stop the fuel cell, because otherwise we are going to be so... Alright. Oh, let's hope nothing goes wrong there. We're going to go like this. And alright. Well, let's hope nothing goes wrong there. Pray that the Kerbals survive. This may not go well. With hope, this thing has just enough heat tolerance to survive, so I'm going to be silent through this so you guys can watch this dramatic scene. Alright, well, that dramatic scene was over. As it turns out, this thing is actually durable enough to survive re-entry. I was a little shocked, to be honest. I wasn't expecting this thing to survive re-entry, but... I mean, I guess that shows that... Oh, fuck. We are facing straight down. I would like you to deploy now. And there we go, the Corvus chute has deployed. As it turns out, we didn't need any extra Delta V anyway. We will use it, though, just to soften our landing. And there you have it. Corvus has landed safely back on the surface, despite me actually messing up this mission. But it looks like they'll be fine after all. So, let's recover them and see how much science we got. I'll meet you guys at the Space Center. And welcome back to the Space Center, and once again, it is night, but we have gotten 311 science from that mission, not to mention the completion of several contracts, including science around Kerbin, and some Mun science, and our main exploration contract, which means lunar landing is our next contract. Oh boy, this is early. So now that we have the lunar landing contract, it means our next missions are probably going to be probe related, and also means the VAB can finally get an upgrade. Oh yeah, so we finally have an upgrade to the pad and the VAB, we have some more contracts, and now we can unlock general construction and get struts. And that means the commercial rocket, the commercial version of the Prometheus can finally come out, which means where is the decoupler for it? There's an advanced decoupler here somewhere. I think I unlocked it in general construction. Okay, yeah, I did. And advanced construction, and of course, heavy rocketry is just out of our reach. but that's because I wanted to unlock everything first. There is the... Actually, hold on. I have an idea to get us that little last kick of science before we end this episode. There's another funny thing you can do for anyone who wants to do some more kind of cheaty science in KSP1, which is get one capsule. Just get literally just a capsule. Get every kind of science you can get. So like this thing, the thermometer, anything you can do on the surface of Kerbin, like this picture camera 2, and then just fly it. Just fly it. And then while it's sitting on the runway, you don't actually have to go anywhere. You just sit on the runway, and you collect science, and you actually get science from it. Yes, you can actually get some extra science, so if you're just missing like 2 points of science, you can just do this, get some spare science, and unlock the next thing. So we're like literally just a couple things away, so I'm just gonna take a few. Sure, it's not much, but it's just enough to kick me to heavy rocketry. And of course, we're gonna take a little crew report while we're here, and an EVA report, because why not? There we go. Cover them. And that should give us the last little bit of science that we need to unlock heavy rocketry, which means we can get the commercial series of rockets, well, all the parts. Technically, we could go commercial already, but it uses the Titan 3 engine, which is in heavy rocketry. And there we go. The commercial series, the Prometheus LR8711, aka the LR8711, is now unlocked. So now we have the 711 engine and some more advanced stages, the 3 and 4, including some Space Y, not to be confused with Space X, the Proton, yes, the Proton, the 4 and the 6, and a whole lot more life support containers. Oh, and the Daleth K240 liquid fuel tank, which is great for interplanetary travel. And then I think we can unlock a MechJeb upgrade by advanced flight control, but we don't have that yet. So, thanks for watching this episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to like and subscribe and to get more of this Kerbal series.